Not all research is experimentation. Hi, I'm Dr. Sarah Margolin, and I have a PhD in cognitive and sensory processes, and I've been running my own human subjects research lab and teaching classes in research methods for almost 2 decades. Welcome to my series, In Plain Science, where I pull back the curtain on all things science. In this episode, we're going to talk about experimentation and what it means to conduct an experiment and what kinds of things we're looking for from that experimental design. So when we conduct an experiment, we are looking for a cause to our effect. That means that we are looking to see what happens when I, as the researcher, change something, we call it manipulation, and see what it does to some kind of measurement. And so you might commonly hear this in medical research, where we might have a treatment for something, and we want to look and see if that treatment causes a change in the disease state, right? The illness that we're trying to treat. And so I, as the researcher, will manipulate or change what that treatment is from nothing to something and see if that changes the outcome for our patient. Importantly, we're looking to do some kind of comparison between at least 2 conditions of our manipulation. So in that example of medical research, our at least 2 conditions would be no treatment and treatment. We also might have something in there called placebo, and the placebo is a fake treatment, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. But what we're looking for is a different outcome for one condition compared to the other. And that comparison needs to happen in order for us to make some kind of conclusion. So in something like a medical research study, we might have 3 conditions, right? We might have one group of participants that receives this new treatment that we're testing out. We might have one group of participants who receives no treatment, and we might have one group of participants that receives a placebo or a fake treatment. And then we measure them on whatever measurement that illness might give us, a fever, days of symptoms, relief from whatever that illness state is, etc. It's going to depend on what we're measuring, right? And then we're going to compare treatment to placebo to control or no treatment. And we're going to see that those are different, hopefully. So if we look at this graph, this is one that I just made up. This is not real data. But just you can see that the measurement is the height of the bar. And we can see that the measurement is improving for the treatment group compared to the placebo group compared to the no treatment control group. And we do see a little difference there between the no treatment control and the placebo group, and that is okay. It is common and it is possible that the belief that having a treatment can improve your symptoms a little bit. But what we want to see is that the treatment gives us more improvement than a placebo or better than the belief that we have the treatment. And we're not going to make these conclusions based on just our eyeballs looking at a graph. We are going to do a statistical analysis to make sure that this is the pattern and it isn't due to fluctuations, variation from person to person, or by chance. The other thing that's important here is that once we have done this and determined that a treatment is improving whatever that disease state is over and above placebo and over and above just existing with no treatment, we now have a standard, right? And if we go back to the episode on participant ethics, we know that when we have a standard treatment, we now no longer can deprive a patient with a particular illness from receiving that treatment. It is unethical. So what do we do then? So what we do then is we don't vie for a no treatment control group anymore or a placebo group anymore. We now take our standard treatment and we compare it to new treatment. So our conditions are no longer those three, but that rather we move to a different model or a different design where we compare any newly developed treatments to the ones that we already have. And I say that last part because right now, HHS is trying to move backwards and pull back in no treatment control groups, and that's simply unethical. Once we've established that a treatment works, we now compare from that old treatment to anything new that is developed. And that's great. That's how we get innovation, and that's how we get new, faster, better, stronger, less expensive, more widely available treatments. I hope this was helpful. Please leave any questions you have in the comments, share with someone who you think might be interested, and stay tuned for another episode of In Plain Science.